There we go. All right. That's not my theme song, by the way. But I wrote it, surprise. So has anybody heard that gaming historian theme version? Yeah, good. So I think you're getting the pre-panel. I thought it'd be kind of neat to talk about all the non-game day stuff I've had my dirty little fingers in that no one knows about. That's one of them. Well, maybe you might know. Maybe some of you know. That used to be Norm's end slate music because he wanted like an 8-bit remix of his piano theme. So he asked me if I could whip something up. He's like, I would like to hire you to do it. I was like, I've known you for years. Like, just tell me what you want me to do with it. And now I think he uses it for Twitch, right? I think so. I mean, I feel like Wolfmaster back there. Yep. Anyway, I thought that was a good sound test. Should we start or wait for an official? I think he's going to announce it, so we'll just sit quietly. If you could all just sit quietly and wait.
Quietly?
No talking, Rob.
Okay, sorry.
So I think the other panel going on right now is a voice actor. I think it's the Toad voice actor. Anybody know? Somebody. O'Shaughnessy?
Oh, so, okay.
So we should probably go.
Yeah, you should probably go to that. Probably the real seats in there. Y'all hearing that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I said bass, but I wasn't like, it's kind of a joke. Let's see, I'm gonna look at it. How's everybody been this weekend? So maybe some people will filter in, but let's just talk. Has anybody had any pickups yet? Any pickups? No? No purchases? No? All right, Marvin, what'd you get?
2 canvases of pixelated art.
Okay, some canvases, some art.
Yeah.
All right. Any game pickups? Yes.
Got Paper Mario for $50.
Ooh, Paper Mario, that's fine.
Nice.
That's fair, that's reasonable. Well, I'll show you what I got so far. Some of it I got day one. For me, it was Thursdays when I got here. Stopped by Retro Madness.
Oh,
Yeah, and they had a ton of PS1 import games. I don't have those with me right now, but I picked way too many of those. And then here's what I got so far. So we got Board Game Top Shop. Who knows this one? Nobody sounds like a game day video. So Board Game Top Shop, this is like Monopoly meets Fortune Street, meets those Itadaki Street games, that sort of style. I don't know if people know about that. Motor Tune Grand Prix, anybody? Motor Tune Grand Prix. Kart Racer, woo! Ace Combat, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These, of course, are all the import versions. Yes. And then we got a little baseball. I love import baseball games because Japan just does baseball really well. Obviously, we know this. N64 stuff. They have some N64 imports over there. King of Pro Baseball. This one's really neat. This one might look familiar. MLB Power Pros. If you've seen that from Konami, this is that series. A little different over there. And then St. Andrews Golf Course for the N64. I don't know anything about this. This is all stream fodder, probably. It's going to be stream fodder, I think. So, we will do some questions. I don't usually do Q&A panels, because normally I know I'm doing a panel. But this is half run by Jay, so I didn't know until I got here that I had a panel. So, I want to talk a little bit, since it's a small crowd. You're going to get that way. Are we recording? Is this being recorded? Okay, never mind. We can't talk about what I was going to talk about. Where are they going to be? Where's it going to be posted?
On the East Not 100% sure.
Okay. All right. I'll be like, Jay, this is Game Day After Dark. You can't post this anymore. So that little gaming historian track you heard was to sort of inform what I'm going to talk about first, and then we'll just do some questions and hang out, have some fun. So I've worked with a lot of channels over the years because I started Game Dave in 2013. Everybody knows who Game Dave is, right? I assume, right? Okay. So 2013 I started Game Dave. I actually started on YouTube in 2006, just doing like short films, Lego stop motion animation, just random stuff, because I had like a video production background. I was just posting things to share with my friends. And then, didn't make a lot of, I think I had like 1,000 subscribers by the end of it. And then I decided to just start over and combine my video production stuff with gaming, which I've always, had a heart for. And here we are now. The original series that I did is actually no longer online, but that might be coming back, called Next Game Dave. So for those of you who follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is Next Game Dave because my original series was a little mystery science theater-ish. I was locked in a room being forced to play games and I didn't know why, so it was definitely story-driven. And for those of you who've seen my older videos, I do like to add unnecessary fictional story stuff into my videos. But I think when I hit the 10th anniversary of the channel, yikes, I'll probably post those videos again so you can see them. But collabs, Toy Galaxy, anybody know Toy Galaxy? Any Toy Galaxy fans out there? So I work with Toy Galaxy, Dan Larson, good guy. I appear on his channel every once in a while. My Life in Gaming, any My Life in Gaming fans out there? Yeah, see? Try. Anybody know Try's real name? Who knows Try's real name? Awesome. It's Mark. Just boring. Yeah, Mark is Try's a character. So I work with My Life in Gaming a lot. We actually started at the same time, and this will kind of inform the secret deets that you're gonna get, because Game Dave knows if you can get away without signing the NDA, don't sign it, because then you can talk about it. They can't sue me. So when Screenwave Media showed up, yeah, you're getting the real info. See, I gotta make it worth your time to walk all the way over to another building to see this. So when Screenwave Media started and decided we're gonna be an MCN, we're gonna try this, back when that was like more of a thing, you had the nerd. AVGN was like the prime suspect of Screenwave's MCN channels. And then you had some of the retroware guys from the old retroware days. You got like Pat and Norm and all those guys. And then they had about 15 people, and then they started shopping around to these smaller channels, myself, My Life in Gaming. So we kind of came up together. So I've known them since the beginning of their channel and my Game Dave channel. And I've had sort of a close connection with Screenwave because I was in that sort of early bunch. We all know Screenwave, a lot of videos about Screenwave out there. We won't get into that. But you might know the other guys who kind of came in with James and started helping him with his videos, right? You guys are aware of that. You had, Justin and Tony and all those guys, Karen. So funny story, revealing that here for the first time. I was actually one of the first people writing AVGN episodes as a ghostwriter, secretly. So, but that was never like put out there. So I wrote about 6 episodes of the AVGN, so if you go back and watch them, Treasure Master is Dirty Harry, RoboCop, so that's actually all mine. I wrote those. And they're like, we need you to sign an NDA, because the fans cannot know. They can't know. They'll flip out. They'll hate it. But James needs help. And I was like, I feel like they'd be fine if it was just clear that he's getting help from people. And then they ultimately showed, hey, we got all these people who are helping. But that was after me. So clearly they didn't like working with me. I don't know. But I tried to bring back that old school feeling. I think Treasure Master was probably the best one I worked on because it felt like that classic style that he was starting to get away from. James is a great guy. I saw him in King of Prussia at the premiere, the East Coast premiere of Adventures in Game Chasing, which was great. We hung out. And I still don't think he knows I wrote episodes for AVGN, which is kind of hilarious. Because I was working with, I believe it's Krusty Justy Silverman and Mike Matei. Those were like the point people. So I actually never met or interacted with James, and I was writing the words that were being slanged from his mouth, which is crazy to think. And I mentioned it to him a year after I had stopped, because I just did it was like a test. We did like 5 episodes. And then I saw James at Too Many Games, many years ago now, and I was like, hey, it's me, Dave, I wrote some of your episodes. He's like, oh, okay, thanks for doing that. So that was my first conversation with James Roth after writing 5 episodes. So that's your taste. That's what you get for coming here. today. You're welcome. But I'll open it up. If you guys have any questions, you want to talk about anything, let me know. And if I find anything worth putting up there, I will. Maybe. So, questions? Anything? Anybody? I know we got a big crowd. Awesome. Good. All right, we're going to head on back, do some shopping. Just yell your question if you have a question. Do it. Don't be afraid. Rob, start us off.
You want me to start? Okay.
Yeah, just make everybody comfortable. This is Rob, by the way. Rob was we'll call him script supervisor and many other hats on the Adventures in Game Chasing film. We've got a lot of the Adventures in Game Chasing crew here helping fill in our seats, which is nice. So what do you got, Rob? Give me a question.
Let's
Something
see.
good.
I have to ask a movie question.
Okay, sure.
This game, Dave, I'm not a fan of.
Has everyone seen Adventures in Game Chasing? Everybody's seen it? Who has not seen the movie yet? Okay, all right.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm
I
just gonna-
am in it, and I am the bad guy.
No spoilers, Rob.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Spoiler-free
Hashtag
questions.
no spoilers.
Okay, go ahead.
When you were, when you were doing your, I guess, what do you call it? Like your preparation for this role.
Uh-huh.
Did you have any influences that you brought into the role, or was it really just, hey, I'm just going to read what's on the page, but I'm going to bring my, did you throw those spins in as you went along, or was there an overarching plan?
That's a fantastic question. I always love when people say that. If I had something to. All right, so in Adventures in Game Chasing,
Look
my
at that.
character here, Billy was like, I need pictures of your face for this poster. And then they drew me, I look like a fat Rick Moranis on the poster, but it's okay. Yoshi did what he could with my face. These are like the pictures I had to send Billy. So this kind of works out. I didn't have any specific influence, but I think it's just that natural thing of, what you watched growing up is going to influence the way you act on camera. So there's a little James Carey in there probably with the movements, very physical movements throughout the movie. But other than that, no, it was really just, let me see what this character could be, throw it out there, and it may or may not work. So what was funny, I've known Billy and Jay for a while. We met at, I think the first Too Many Games I was invited to come out to. I met them. And we were all at there's this arcade sort of building that was connected to the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. And we were all there for this after party. And 8-Bit Eric had been a fan of Game Day for a while. He was watching the show, and he was telling Billy and Jay, you really gotta check out this guy's channel. It's one of my favorite channels. And he was like, yeah, you should meet Billy and Jay. They're here. I've told them about your stuff, so I met them. Jay's like, I don't want you to, man. But Eric said, you got good stuff, so I checked it out. And it's good. And Billy was like, hey, I can tell you have a video production background. I was like, yep. He's like, me too. And here we are. So I just kind of kept up with him over the years. And then I think it was maybe 3 years after I met them, we were booth babes, sharing booths. And Billy asked if I had any interest in having a little part in this Game Chasers movie at the time. It was just the Game Chasers movie. I was like, sure, yeah, that'd be fun. Because I have some theater background as well. I did local theater for 9 years and things like that. I always wanted to be a performer. That was kind of my thing. And my parents were like, hey, you got to get a state job so you can survive. Which means they did not believe in me. So I did. I became a teacher. And it's like performing every day for elementary school students. And this just kind of came apart, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to be in a little movie. I thought it'd be a little thing, something super independent. And then maybe a year later, Billy was like, hey, I have this draft of the script, and I did put a character in there for you. Do you want to read through it and check it out? And I was looking at the script, and this is like a main character situation. I thought it'd be like a little cameo thing or something. So it was a much bigger involvement than I thought it was going to be. And then things launched, and it was funded, and the movie got made, and I'm super happy with how it came out. I think we all are that have seen it and worked on it. I've heard from a lot of people today they really enjoyed me in the movie, and that's been awesome to hear. Maybe we'll have some more. If you can get on that, Rob.
I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit.
But yeah, we might have a sequel. So yeah, definitely check it out. I think it's worth your time. It has that good old 80s PG, almost like an 80s G really, feel. And it was funny, we had the premiere, viewing the other night, and we had Retro Freaks, their movie, and then showed The Adventures of Game Chasing. And you would think Adventures of Game Chasing would be this raunchy, like nearly R-rated movie because Billy and Jay are gross. And it ended up being this wholesome, sweet movie with Eric's butt in it. But compared to like Retro Freaks, it's like, ooh, are there any kids in here? They gotta get out. Like a kid, I think, could get a lot out of The Adventures of Game Chasing film. It feels like a solid late 80s sort of road trip comedy with a lot of heart to it. And I was happy to be a part of it. So I went all over the place, but I know in there I answered your question.
You did.
So, any other questions? Yes.
What is the criteria you go through when choosing a Famicom episode?
That is a great question as well. Famicorner. So Famicorner, I think, is my favorite series that I do outside of Game Day the series, which is like the talking shelves thing. I gotta get back to that. But Famicorner, I love import gaming. The dream is to eventually do Super Famicorner, talk about Super Famicom games, and then get an N64 because there's some great ones. But when it comes to the games I choose, they have to be fairly easy to pick up and play, limited need for the knowledge of Japanese language. So I do not speak Japanese. I took 1 semester of Japanese in college, so I know like basic pronunciation stuff, so I can get away with that, but I cannot read it. So I want to kind of share those games. It has to be a game that is locked to Japan, that we did not get. And I will sometimes do games that have really solid translation patches that you kind of need. If it has a really like verified, solid translation patch, then I might review it. Because I did that with some of the Kunio-kun games that have really solid translation patches. So that's really what it is, ease of access. And then I try to do different categories. I've done some platforms, I've done some shooters, of which there are many great shooters on the Famicom. I have not done any RPGs because that's tricky. I wanted to do Hanjuku Hero, which is a really cool sort of parody of Dragon Quest, and that series has been around a while. I was in contact with a guy that was working on a translation for that. It's not like an official one for the Famicom game, and he was like 75% done. I was like, if you get this done, I would love to do a video on it, and he has not finished it, so maybe one day. So there's some of the criteria. And then once I can afford it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, just to follow up. So do you have to own the game physically? And if so, when is someone going to send you Moonroost?
Yeah, I have a policy on the channel. I only review vintage stuff that I have a physical copy of. And sometimes it'll be a game that I've had for a while. Sometimes it's something I learn about and I go out and find it. Hopefully it's not turned into Moon Crystal. So Moon Crystal is one of the most expensive Famicom games. And it is one of the most beautifully smooth Famicom games out there. The animation is nuts, and I didn't even know about this game. And I had a show called Famicorner until Leon, who was our practical on-set special effects guy for the movie, told me about it because we hit it off pretty well. So, also, speaking of music, earlier, we got Martin, who wrote the score, is also here. So, round of applause for people who helped make the movie possible.
And Leon's effects.
Leon's
And Rob script.
Scripts are great, yeah. It's a Game Chasers movie Jason panel, that's what we'll say. A lot of that kind of info. I was wondering if I had, going back to the movie, Billy knew and specifically wrote the part of Morton for me, but not everybody knew who I was or had the vision that Billy had of what that character was going to be. I know Rob had a very different idea of what this Morton character was going to be. And when Billy was showing me who I was, I was like, I don't know if that's what did you think it was going to be?
Well, it just, the way that it was written, like on the page, you know, I mean, I read this, I mean, I was script supervisor, I had to read it like 30 times. I have to know that script backwards and forwards. I have to know which scene comes before what because we film out of order. all that kind of stuff. So I've read it. I read through it so many times, and it just, I don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't him. So when he shows up,
Rude.
I'm just saying, it was. I was like, I don't know about this, but then again, I felt the same way about Chief,
Yeah.
because we met the guy that was supposed to play Chief's part, and then
He was a very Egon Spangler character
yes,
originally.
and then suddenly this, what, bro, all this stuff. He's in this, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but they changed that part to fit him. With this, with this. But with him, it was so different. I had a more, like a bigger, more, I guess not menacing, but more visually intimidating.
Wait,
guy.
am I not an int?
No, you're like a cherub of happiness.
A cherub. You're talking to my mom.
It's just different. It's just different. But then, as soon as I started, because I'm sitting behind a screen watching the performances and timing the shots and all that stuff, doing my job, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, this is completely different, but it's working." And within just a few days, I was like, that whatever I had in mind was gone.
Yeah, you didn't realize how wrong you were.
I was wrong.
What's up, Jay?
What's up?
What's going? We're keeping it light, because the voice actors took all the game day fans. So I'm really, yikes. So I'm going to give you guys a little peek into, it's like to break up the Q's with the A's, a little peek into what I do when I'm not Game Dave. So some of you know I am a teacher, that's my full-time job, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it. I remember talking to Jay, I was like, I think it's going to work, because October is one of my worst months, because I do a lot of things with the school, and all these events happen on weekends. And we have this big event that I sort of spearhead called the Fall Ball. It's like a big dance stage show. And I like to perform, so I gotta work it into my regular day job. And it was supposed to be this weekend, and it got shifted to next weekend. So I'm working on this big show, it just happened to work out. So I'll show you, this is sort of a highlight reel of the past ones that I've done. Just you kind of see, I go nuts no matter where I'm at. But this is our Fall Ball Ghostbusters event show that we do every year at the elementary school. Hopefully it'll sound all right for you. And speakers, choice. So that sounds not good. We gotta do this switch over here. Yeah, I'm cranked. I'm so cranked. Should I try the
hold on.
But that's me, right there.
Try it now.
All right. Yep, it's better.
100%.
You're playing right from Blue Drive.
Yeah, this is our super small gymnasium. I work at a really small, Southern Delaware school, and yeah, this is our gym. We pack it. We had to change the location this year because we were breaking fire code every year. Didn't know it. So it's one of our most popular events. But some of you know I have a big affinity for Ghostbusters, so that's why. I think it's the. Let me switch to the projector sound to see if it sounds good.
Okay.
Just to see. Worst case. We're gonna have to make that work. Yeah.
Goose.
So that's my day job in elementary school. So the reason I want to show you that is, I always talk about hard PG on the Game Dave channel. And I think that's probably why, because it's inevitable that when my students get to like 3rd, 4th grade, they're gonna find me, because there are some of those viral videos I have, and inevitably, Mr. Thomas, are you the Game Dave? I am the Game Dave. So I'm always in the back of my mind when I'm writing something or filming something, I'm like, there's going to be younger eyes somewhere, and I would like them to not feel like they're getting cursed at, we'll say. So I save it for the streams, the late night streams. So Game Dave After Dark, if you like that, Game Dave Live, Twitch, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we hang out, and it's a great time. So I'll hopefully be there this Thursday, but I have this fall ball event the next day on Friday, so we'll see. So that's why I wanted to show that, sort of talk about why I kind of keep things relatively, anybody can get something out of it, it's all ages. It's a safe place for everybody. That's kind of why I do it. I think it's that teacher mindset, because I teach kindergarten through 3rd grade, so I try to keep it that way. Now, these might be the only kids in the state of Delaware that know this much about Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. So that was me as Beetlejuice, by the way. So what we did, we had this thing where a ghost took me off stage, and then I very quickly changed into Beetlejuice and came from the other side, so they had no idea it was me. Parents didn't know it was me. They're like, who'd you guys hire to play that Beetlejuice? They all thought he was a scary clown. They didn't know who Beetlejuice was, which is good. It's like, do not go watch Beetlejuice yet. Nice model. That's all I'll say about that.
Watch the cartoon.
Yeah, yes. The cartoon is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So good, so good. Anyway, so there's a little insight there. So you guys are getting all these extra things. So lucky. Questions? Any other questions? Do some more questions.
How much did the rights cost to use the song?
The rights cost, that would be an illegal amount of money, because I didn't. Small distribution.
Yeah, that one.
You sure you want to be saying that with cameras pointed at you?
Whoops, I know, I've already said, is this getting posted? A lot of secrets coming out today. I have a question. How long do we have? How long do we have?
That was just like about an hour.
Okay, all right, good. So we still have time. Any other questions? Yes.
We're still using the Wii workout routine after you
Okay.
succeeded with it. Have you kept on?
That is something that I have not given much of an update about. So let's, for context, we'll do a little context
It
here.
looks really fit, so I guess you're just.
Yeah, I'm sucking at it. But what happened? For those of you who haven't seen it, I did a 30-day weight loss challenge, and it kind of went along with work, because work was going to have this weight loss challenge, and there was a prize, a cash prize, and I wanted to win it. And I figured video games would be the best motivation. So I did a video, and I chronicled 30 days of healthier eating and only using video games for my fitness routine. So I did 30 days, I chronicled it, I won the challenge, spoilers if you haven't seen the video, and lost about 12 pounds in a month, which is a healthy amount of weight, because you don't want to lose it's just going to come right back. I've gained a little bit back, I've lost a little bit more, it's always fluctuating. I don't have as much of the extreme routine as I did, but I definitely think more about what I eat. And I said that in the video, you can't just do Wii Fit every day and look ripped. It doesn't really work that way, but it helped me track what I was doing every day, and that, I think, was the better motivation than the fitness games. So being able to check in every day, see what my weight was, what I ate, my calories. So it made me think differently about what I ate. So, could wait to watch
If you're a college student, keep watching.
Get those ads, Game Day. Yeah, Marriott Internet.
Search for the correct format for my psychic.
Awesome.
So, it's finally time to roll out my gaming channel. It's what I've always wanted to do.
Who hasn't
So
seen
you
this?
guys
Who has
be
not
part of
seen
it.
this? Okay.
It's weird to have this video record of yourself. Changes you go through year after year, not just physically, mentally. Thinking about how I felt back then compared to now, and yes, how I look. To the outside world, changes seem gradual, unnoticed, but when you can pinpoint moments in time, it sticks with you. Maybe you think I look fine now, better even, but I don't always feel that way. I needed to make a change, and things came together in a very unusual way. Classic game, Dave. I like naturally wanting to suck it in. This is how I walk around work all day. All day I walk around like this. This is the real me. Oh, boy. I feel fat. Listen to my story. This may be our last chance. Wait, what? What? Hold it!
Spoilers, so check that out. So yeah, it was weird because when you're making videos online and posting them, you do have this weird video record of yourself. And I was seeing old videos that I had done. I was like, ooh, I was a lot more trim back then, you know. And it's like in my face all the time. You know, old logos, old art of, you know, cutouts of me for conventions, things like that. And to kind of see that, realize the pandemic didn't help because I was home eating not great. And I thought it'd be a cool way to hopefully win the challenge and also get a pretty fun video out of it. One of the hardest videos I ever put together because 1 hour or so of footage is what I ended up with for each day of the challenge. So I had the timeline of about 30 hours of footage. And then I had to take that and chop it down, get all the best bits out of that, and that was still about 4 hours of usable material for that video, and then it ends up being still a pretty long video. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. So that the update would be, I'm trying to stick to it. It is not nearly as bad as it was before I did the challenge. Yeah.
Do you have any other videos in the works that you can talk about? And do you still keep in contact with Roy?
Oh, Roy. Who knows who Roy is on my channel? Roy, yes. All right, good. Yeah, Roy is he's something. So Roy actually had a show on my old channel called Art in a Minute, where he would teach you how to paint masterpiece art pieces in 1 minute, and it didn't go well, and it got canceled. So I brought him over to talk about games in a minute. You know, I'm glad Roy hopped on the channel. It's really nice. But yeah, and your other question about what is in the works. So videos that are in the works right now. I recently was able to come across a Big Blue, an original Big Blue cabinet. So I'm kind of working on restoring that right now. I was sort of pushed into buying it by my Twitch stream. They made me ultimately do it. Yeah. So they were here. And I did the Cruisin' World arcade video. I did the Mortal Kombat / Double Dragon cabinet. That was pretty fun. So it's a dangerous thing when you get to the point where you have a collector's mindset. And I think what's happened is I'm really just looking at weird Japanese stuff now in my collection. Because I have, like, the things that I really care about, I have at this point. And, you know, I don't want to just buy things to buy things. So that's kind of what I did here. I bought a Golf 64 Japanese game. So, but I think that collector mindset is hard to get rid of. You'll hear stories about people who purge their collections and then they start collecting again. Sometimes they'll buy back things. Even Pat was talking about that, how he's like, oh, the great Pat the NES Punk game purge is gonna come, so I can always buy it back. You can always buy it back. So I'm not purging any of my games anytime soon. But now that I'm at that point, I still have that brain of like, ooh, I like the chase, finding unique things, and especially in gaming. And arcade cabinets is a big jump from console games. I have 5 cabinets right now, and I'm kind of maxed out. But I have this big blue. It's a Third Strike, Street Fighter Third Strike. I'm working on restoring it. And then there's a Mortal Kombat 2 original cabinet that I am still on the fence about getting. We'll see. I love Mortal Kombat, one of my favorite fighters aside from Marvel vs. Capcom, which I think is one of the best fighters ever. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And that's a video I'm working on. I've been filming the process, so that'll come out whenever that is done. And then I have 2 Family Corners in the works. The Famicom Karaoke Studio is one, so it's a karaoke machine attachment for the Famicom. And then an Afterburner Flight Yoke controller for the Famicom. Those are the 2 of them. Yes?
Are there any particular cabinets that you absolutely want at some point in your life? And Are there any ones that you do want, but are just too damn big to fit in your house?
So that's what I thought Big Blue was going to be. But I definitely can answer. I just talked to somebody about that today who's here. If size didn't matter, and unfortunately for me it does, so Dance Dance Revolution would be so awesome to have. An actual, like a 2-pad Dance Dance Revolution. I don't think it would be possible to get it into my basement. I know you can separate them, but it'd be crazy. The Big Blue was a little scary. That was one of the scarier ones to get in, which you'll see in the video, because I did film the full process of us bringing it in. And it was more for the height and weight. And this cabinet did not have casters, didn't have wheels on it. So we had to put it on this insane dolly. And then I just made a ramp out of wood so that we could sort of just go down the walkout to my basement, and then we rolled it up and got it through. The Mortal Kombat 2 is also huge, but dream cabinets would be DDR, Marvel vs. Capcom, or Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I prefer the original. That would be pretty great. And Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 would be amazing, but Mortal Kombat 2 is probably the best of the arcade Mortal Kombat games, so we'll see. The guy who hasn't texted me and asked me this weekend if I'm still interested in the Mortal Kombat 2. He has not sold it yet, and it really doesn't need much work, but it is big. It's in those big midway cabinets, so we'll see what happens. I'm kind of maxed out with space. I got to move this pinball machine, but don't ask me about that. So we'll see. Any other questions? Yes.
How did you get into the Suikoden series?
Oh, that is a great question, because I love Suikoden. Who does? Raise your hand if it's your favorite game. Me and him. So, Suikoden 1 and 2 just got an HD remaster announcement, because Konami, I guess, is going to get their crap together. And remember, they made awesome stuff. Fingers crossed. Everything I've seen looks good. The team that's helped work on it is some of the original people. People who are working, there was some controversy because like, oh, they've announced this Suikoden HD remaster around the same time that Eiyuden Chronicle, made by the original creator, is a sort of spin-off thing, is happening. But I don't think there's any bad blood. Yoshitaka Murayama, who is the father of Suikoden, was happy. He just wants Suikoden to live. That's why he's making Eiyuden Chronicle, which is basically Suikoden. And the same art designer helped with the HD remaster, so I think it's gonna be fine. Because it's not the business people at Konami that are making it, it's the people who actually care about the games that are gonna be putting it together, so I think we're gonna be fine. What got me into Suikoden, because it's not as obscure as it was. It was not some crazy hit game here. In Japan it is, and I don't know if anybody's seen any copies of Suikoden or Suikoden 2 out on the floor. Yeah, have you seen the prices? Are they pretty crazy still?
Oh, very.
Is that little hat? Yeah.
The first one wasn't too bad.
No, what's it up to now?
I think the most I saw was like
What's up? It's
Really?
150.
Number one? Wow.
It's only about 3 brand new games. Yeah. Suikoden 1 for the longest time was super common, and it was always like a $30 game. And then in the last 5 years or so, that one Suikoden 2 is so expensive. Let's make the first one expensive too, so people can't play it. Suikoden 2 is nuts though. I think it's like 4. It's got to be 400 for complete for Suikoden 2 at this point. So I played Suikoden 2 first, and unlike Final Fantasy, the Suikoden series is all the same world, all the same timeline, similar characters. It's all one story. Some might take place earlier, later, but it's still the same world, which I loved. And I played Suikoden first, and there were all these references to this other game that I had not played, and I found Suikoden 2 at a rental store that was selling their PlayStation games, I guess ones that didn't rent very well. Suikoden 2, kind of a weird one. And that's sort of the beloved game. I don't know if it's my favorite of the series. We'll see if I ever get that Suikoden 2 review. So I found that, and I turned it around, and I'm a big fan of Chrono Cross. I love Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross fans. Hey, Chrono Cross fans. Right. I know Rob says it's better than Chrono Trigger for some reason.
It is.
And he's right. Chrono Cross is better. Let's see if anybody walks out. Chrono Cross.
I've never played.
I love Chrono Cross because of the number of characters in the game, and it's got New Game Plus. I love RPGs with New Game Plus, and you kind of have to play it at least twice, really 3 times, thrice, to fully complete Chrono Cross. And I turned around this Suikoden 2 game, and it said, I didn't at the time called it Suikoden, because I didn't know Suikoden.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think most people say Suikoden or said Suikoden, but apparently it's Suikoden. And it said, find and recruit 108 characters. Whoa, that's awesome. And played it and loved it. You can name the main character, which I'm a snob about. I like to be able to name the main character in an RPG, because that's me. I'm supposed to be that character. It's Dave in this medieval fantasy world. And from there, I found Suikoden 1 at GameStop, brand new, because it was still, was it EB? I think it was GameStop. Picked that up, and yeah, fell in love with the first one. It's a little bit more, I always refer to Suikoden 2 as like, if it was a movie, it's almost like a CG movie, because it's a little more polished. Suikoden 1 feels like a stop motion film. You can see the fingerprints of the creators on it more so. The art style on the portraits aren't as clean, they have this like rough style to them. That's the only thing I'm a little weird about, is the redrawn portraits in the HD remaster, because I like that textured look of the originals, but it's still the same artist, so we'll give it a pass. So that's how I ended up getting into the Suikoden series, and then from then, as they came out, I stuck with it all the way through to 5, which was the last one we got on the PS2, so that's how long Suikoden's been dead. At least here, there was an exclusive PSP game in Japan that I've not played, but I do have it.
I just checked price charting, and Suikoden 2 is currently $260.
Okay, okay. So maybe things are going down. The prices have not been too bad out
Suikoden
there.
1 is only $85.
85. Woo! Did it? Maybe the HD remaster. Like, oh, we can't sell now. Just wait for the HD remaster. Yeah. So if you're looking for a copy, go out there and show them those prices. And they'll give it to you. Yeah. So that's my sort of history with that. Yes.
Can I ask another question?
Yes, we have time.
Okay. One of my favorite things about coming to visit you is I got to see your amazing collection of not only games but figures, and your I mean, it's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
like a beautiful playground. I love it. So is there ever, I mean, I'm sure there's probably a plan at some point to do a sort of a walkthrough of your amazing thing there, all the work you've done. Is that
Just Googling.
Huh?
Just Googling. So funny stat. So long ago, let's see, when was it? What is that? August of 2016. I did a video game room tour in my old home. Stop it! Oh, whoa, controversy. Wow, we can't talk about Bayonetta.
There's actually been some more information that came out about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
That's why y'all gotta just play Senran Kagura. Okay, let's take a shit. It's my old house.
Welcome to my humble abode. I've been outside. I got socks on. A lot of you have been asking me, Game Day, where's the game room tour? We want to see all those games. Today it's going to happen. Behind this door is the game room tour. Check it out. We got Wits and Wagers, Dominion, we got Settlers of Catan, we got Kickball, Urban Myth. Is that the game room tour you're talking about? Oh, I know what you meant. You meant the video game room tour. Let's do it. Welcome to the game room.
It's my old game room. So that's my old game room. It was much smaller than the current one. You never saw that one, Rob.
I saw that.
Yeah, so Rob got to see the new game room when the Game Chasers and Rob came up through Delaware on our way to King of Prussia for the East Coast premiere or screening. I guess the first time on the East Coast, right?
Right.
Yeah, of the movie. And they got to see the new place. And yeah, it's something I've thought about is doing a game room tour. It's sort of a weird setup because, like Rob said, there's actually there's a toy section for Pixelated Daniel, and then there's the game room side, which is slowly becoming arcade machines. Because I didn't have the Big Blue yet. I had the Cruisin' though. When you were there, I had the Cruisin'. So I would love to do one. Friend of the show, Not Top, if anybody knows Not Top, he actually helped film this one. And he visited this summer, and I was like, hey, we should film a new game room tour. He was like, who wants to see that? He's not a gamer, so we'll see. If that's something, do you think you guys would want to see, like a tour of the new room? I mean, that's something I could certainly work on. Okay.
But it's
all right.
more than just the games and the toys. It's all themed. And it's just
There is some theming.
If you're a movie fan and a game fan and all that stuff, it's awesome.
Yeah, if you like very specific movies, you're gonna love it.
But it's
If you like Ghostbusters, you're in for a
great.
treat.
You did do a great video about the lighting.
Organized by franchise. Here's everything Ghostbusters.
My man, it absolutely is. So I have I think there's 9 Ghostbuster shelves. And that's just all the Ghostbusters, like the Diamond Select toys and things. And then I have the Back to the Future section. Love Back to the Future. And then there's like the mannequins. True story. There's love Back to the Future. I love the costuming that goes in. I would love to be in the costume department. I think that'd be a fun. Like if I wasn't on camera and I was going to be behind the scenes, the costume department would be really cool. Just the little things they sneak in. And I have all 3 versions of Marty McFly, his outfits. So we have the 85 to 2015, and I have the 1885 Marty outfits on mannequins. And my wife hates them because depending on where they are, when she comes down the steps to the basement, they're usually there. They're faceless, creepy heads, and she usually jumps. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Everything's very
Coming up. Perfect for Halloween.
upset. I did. We had an 80s day at the school a couple weeks ago, and I wore my. Or the 1985 Marty, the classic for 80s. Yeah, I should have done 1880s? 1880s day. There you go. Everybody has their ponytails, and I've got the stringed. Yeah, it's the one that he wears before. So it's like the crappy Western outfit that Doc puts him in. That's the one I have that Marty's wearing. Not the cool looking one, the Clint Eastwood one. But I wore the 1985 Marty outfit. And even one of the teachers, because they're now getting younger than me, the teachers, because 35 AF, and they thought, because I took the jacket off, and Marty wears suspenders, okay? And she goes, hey, I know. Did I do that? She, like, just because the guy has suspenders on, he's Urkel? Come on. Really frustrating, but anyway. Yeah, so game room tour is very sorted. It'll happen. Rob, you gonna come film that?
You're right. What?
Oh, you gonna come film it? Yeah. Also, I'm right. You gonna film that?
No, sure.
It's not top.
I have actually a 3-minute video on my
Oh,
my
you filmed
device.
some footage. You can also check out
No,
Order
no,
42.
no.
Anybody like Indian films? Because that's what this guy's known for. He's blowing up on YouTube right now. So if you like movie reviews, check out Order 42. And you'll be like, oh, I know that guy, because he's that guy that was at Game Dave's panel, that packed panel I went to at Retropalooza.
Yeah.
Oh, learned so much information. All right, I think we got time for like 1 or 2 maybe more questions. Maybe? Okay.
How long does it take you to clean?
That is a great question. So the old house, this game room was a pain in the tuchus to clean because it's a very old neighborhood. It's just like everything settles, super dusty. So I go with the Swiffer 360s, little wands, and I just,
Hashtag not sponsored.
I what's that?
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored because I almost never do sponsorships. I've been like one on Digitally Distracted. So that's what I did there, and it was a very humid neighborhood, so things just felt very not great. But in the new place, way better. But it really is just, you have to chunk it out, and I am a bit of a neat freak. I think Rob would agree with that. So I try to keep things clean. So that's my house. The basement is my house, and then my wife's house is upstairs. So that's specifically why we bought the house, because she's like, I don't want to see your stuff. She's not a gamer. She likes the N64, but only like 3 games that she grew up with. Other than that, she doesn't give an F about video gaming. So it's all right. Yes.
Sort of on the same subject, is cleaning the same reason you have white shelves for your games? Because I learned that from Scott the Wise. White shelves hides dust better.
All right. Well, how dare you speak of him? So those of us that are in the know, if you watch my stream, Scott the Wise has slowly become a meme on my stream because he's just me now. I know most people, they do the black, the IKEA shelves. And when I was working with this company, you can see even before I got into wall control, which is the metal pegboard I use now, and it is amazing. That's one of the few sort of sponsorship things I've ever done because I 100% back their product. It is amazing, made in the USA, lifetime warranty. They are amazing people, family-owned business. So I even was doing like white cubes at this time because it has a different, clean look instead of just these black holes of games, and they're always too deep. And you see the big layers of dust that really show. So I can get away with it a little bit longer with the white shelves. That's exactly what it is. So Scott said that too. Darn it! Coming for him and everything he does. But yeah, I highly recommend wall control, which is everything now in the game room is wall control, and it is amazing. It's really good stuff. All right, any more? We'll jump over. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being here. It's awesome to do a panel. So if you have not picked up any of my sticky wikis or buttons, you can get them free because you're at the panel. And even if you already bought a set, you can get another set for free right now. So if you want to get some things, come up to me. I'll give them to you now before we head out. All right. Thanks again, everybody. I'll be over here. Yes. All right.